Hey guys, so what I found really interesting about this play was that there's a lot of things in this book that wouldn't necessarily be politically correct in today's age. For example, people admitting that they just openly do not agree with, or more so, do not like the LGBT community, which was kind of just tough for me to wrap my mind around that people would openly say that. So I looked up when it was published, and that was in 2002. And then it just kind of hit me that how much our society has changed and grown in the past just under 20 years since this came out. The two values that I saw through it was that hatred definitely exists in this world, and then secondly, that really good things can come from really bad events. So the fact that hatred exists is pretty may seem pretty obvious, but I mean, two men in this book cause harm to someone who they normally wouldn't, only because he practices something that they don't necessarily agree with, and for that reason they feel that they have the right to cause harm to him, which is almost the definition of hatred. Secondly, the good things can come from bad things. We think we can all agree that what happened here was a terrible event, but that becomings of the town in general, I feel like could be caused as a good thing, almost as if what happened to him was kind of a sacrifice for the LGBT community as a whole. What I circled was the one character mentions on page 6 that he's from rural Texas. And when I think of Texas, I always think of like Dallas and um, Austin and big cities. And then, so after looking up rural Texas and seeing what Texas that no one talks about kind of thing is all about, I realized that Texas and Wyoming are very similar. He even mentions that he loves going to the grocery store because he gets to talk to 4 to 5 people, and I really kind of connected the dots between Texas and Wyoming for me. So at the beginning, number 4, at the beginning of the play, the town I would say is mostly tolerant, but not necessarily accepting of the LGBT community. But then I feel like as we go down in the play, I kind of touched on this earlier, the town becomes much more accepting towards them. I don't necessarily see this happening in today's era in Columbus, especially in Columbus per se, because I feel like we here at least do a great job of accepting people who they are, and not as opposed to somewhere like in Wyoming where it can, or in Texas where I feel like there's a lot of conservative people. Number 5, 3 reasons why this is different than a normal playwright. First, the obvious is there's many more characters. There's over 20 characters. Secondly, the play is based on like interviewing and facts as opposed to being full scenes. This allows the viewer to come to their own conclusion as opposed to being told how they should feel. So, 2 questions that I have. First, if this play was written in a normal way, where it kind of told you how you should feel, do you think it would be just as persuasive as it is how it is written now? And then secondly, in the early 2000s, I know LGBT community was a major controversy. Do you think that now there's still one major conversation as there was then, or that there's many different emerging topics today?